my very good friend, Imah!
Imah!
Good evening, good evening. How are you, bro? How are you?
Good evening, Rod. How are you? Good evening, everyone who are with us tonight in another episode of BXD Now. BXD
Right,
Now.
so, pero
Kasama mo si Lance. Ako nga pala si Lance. I mean, si Ian Gonzaga here in place for Lance tonight. And Rod, how's the week?
Busy week. Well, busy doing nothing actually kasi naka-leave ako for this week, but next week back to normal na. But before that, let's just tell everyone who's watching right now. So this particular weekly show is basically where BXD Now showcases various personalities and talents in the UAE and actually other parts of the world. So we interview them, get their viewpoints, perspectives, and get to know more about them. And of course, give them a platform to basically tell people who they are. And for this week's episode, we would like to showcase a Filipino talent. And Ian, would you like to give them
Yes.
introduction?
I think it's very fitting. As you've said, your week has been busy but doing nothing. Sometimes we have a lot of stress at work. Puno-puno tayo ng pressure. We are loaded yung mga deliverables natin. And I think it's rightly that we end the week on a funny note, no? I would say.
Yes.
So, yes, as you have said, Rod, we have a very special guest tonight. Hayaan natin siya yung magkwento sa atin kung sino ba talaga siya. Diba? As you all know, I'm talking about the Filipina comedian in the UAE. Friends, let's all welcome Imah.
Hello, Imah.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Rod. Hi.
I'm good. Kamusta?
Ayun. I'm good.
Kamusta naman?
Kumusta kayo?
We're good. We're very excited to have you. It's a different kind of content. So kakaiba. I think wala pa. I think ngayon lang nakita ng stream na stand-up comedian yung naging guest, no?
Sa ngayong gabi, you're not standing up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sitting.
Sit down.
Thank you
Yes,
for
right.
having me. Thank you for inviting me. My gosh, I like this. Thank you.
It's been about a couple of weeks or so that we've been discovering your videos and your acts on YouTube or on Instagram, and we get hooked. Hooked na kami kaagad, no? And then we love the type of comedy that you bring out there. So before we go deeper into our night, why don't you tell us first, who is Imah ba?
Well, hi.
Hello.
Imah, that's me. So actually, my real name is Fatima, and so I reduced it to Imah, as I said, because I'm no longer fat. So that's my stage name, and I've been living in Dubai for over 10 years now. And stand-up comedy is my part-time job, and I am a full-time. My full-time job is I'm an executive secretary to the CFO of one of the developers here in Dubai, and I think I love doing stand-up comedy, and I'm so grateful na kayo ay nanonood ng aking mga videos, and I'm happy na kayo ay napatawa ko.
Yes.
Crazy times, so I mean, and the type of comedy that you have is really giving joy to a lot of people, including us. If I may ask though, so you said you're currently working as an executive secretary, right? So what made you decide to go into comedy?
Ever since I always wanted to do something entertaining. Tapos sabi ko, hindi naman ako marunong kumanta, hindi ako marunong mumarte, sumayaw. So sabi ko,
hindi ako naniniwala.
I promise. Yung stereotype na Filipinos can sing. So ayun, sabi ko, so what I did in 2018, sabi ko, let me try to do something outside my daily routine. Like, yung being confined in cubicle all day, parang something na nakakabagot ba? So sabi ko, let me do something. Tapos, so I enrolled nag-enroll ako sa monologue, stand-up comedy, and the film acting. Charot. Tapos, among the three classes, na doon ako talaga na-attach sa stand-up comedy. So, yun, I found out na, although sabi naman ng family and friends ko before na funny ka, ganun. Sabi ko, sige, let me try. Kaya lang, it was a little challenging kasi the class was in English, and then the presentation was in English, the final class is in English, and I'm like, I have limited English.
Talaga? Alright.
Ayun,
So, you are naturally a comedian, Ima. I mean, I can attest to that already with the short chat that we had prior to going live. Sinabi na rin ng mga family mo pala, no? But ano yung mga type of comedies that you were watching when you were developing this desire to become a comedian?
Yeah, okay. See, so I used to watch Joe Coy and Chris D'Elia, and then Eliza Schlesinger. So these are Hollywood, American-based comedians. They're Americans. I think you know them, right?
Joko, yeah.
Joko is Filipino,
At
the same time, Filipinos Joko, pero based sa Amerika. So, nakarelate ako sa kanila because yung character, yung persona nila sa stage, they're very noisy, loud, and they are movers. So, sabi ko, feeling ko ganyan ako sa kanila. So sila yung parang naging influence, yung naging ba? So sila yung parang sabi ko, I wanna be like this. So ayun, nag-try ako ng stand-up comedy. And then after the first show, maganda naman yung reception ng mga tao and karamihan that nung sa audience na yun, hindi sila Filipino. So sabi ko, okay, fine, they accepted me, so go na to. Wala nang pigil.
Yeah.
So how many years have you been doing this? In stand-up comedy ba? Gano'n katagal into the comedy
So I started 2 years now. I started in 2018. January 2000, March 2018.
Amazing. Tapos, pero yung performance, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I just said this very recently. I mean, I thought you were doing it for years already.
Ano lang, very recent. Recent ba yung 2 years? Pwede na yun, recent. I mean,
Right.
So bago lang ako.
Pero ano mo, diba?
Lang akong luma.
Grabe naman yun. Ano pa kaya kami, di ba? Ano kami, antique?
Lumang-luma.
Grabe, kakayanin ko ba to 30 minutes, Rod?
You asked for it.
Pero may question ako sa'yo, Rod. Tapos tanungin natin si Ima. Kasi di ba, when we talk of Filipino comedians, ibang brand of comedy pumapasok sa isip natin. Ikaw ba, what are your perceptions when you talk about Filipino comedian?
Well, the general comedy kasi na nakasanayan natin before. I mean, even if you go to comedy clubs ngayon sa Pilipinas, some of them, ang ginagawa kasi is they tend to insult the audience. Yung insult ng katawa, right? Lait. It's not something I'm particularly fond of, right? So, pero there are other comedians naman, they do the song and dance routine, and then they also have witty banter, which I particularly like. It shows na matalino yung comedian rather than insulting somebody's looks or whatever, or minsan lalatin yung girlfriend or yung boyfriend, diba? But that's not what I've seen sa comedy ni Ima, which I really, really liked. So, and that's actually very good.
How
can we call your comedy type, Ima?
Okay, can I just add something to that sa sinabi ni Ron? So basically, what we parang grew up with, the type of comedy we have back in the Philippines, yung insult comedy.
Yeah.
May mga fans din yung comedy. I mean, yun ang nag-work sa atin, di ba? So, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not the type of hindi yung type ng comedy na ginagawa ko. So basically, based siya doon sa yun sa American style na comedy or sa Western na they have a proper set and then they don't do riffing most of the time sa crowd. So you go perform, do your set, your material, that's it. So most of the time it's a store, you share your materials will be most based on life story, life experiences, observations like that.
Yes.
So less yung riffing sa crowd, less yung crowd work. So yun yung difference. Okay naman yung comedy sa atin. Siguro nagkaroon lang ng stigma because yung nakasanayan lang mag-insulto ng audience, which is funny, pero may mga taong hindi talaga nag-enjoy sa ganun din. So, like
it debases the joke. It debases the joke, and I don't know. I mean, jokes like that are always good unless it's on you. Di ba? Yun eh.
Yes. Yan yung so sa yung type ng comedy ko somehow, yun Rod, we call it like self-deprecating comedy. So if you insult yourself, parang ganon. You don't insult the audience. So yun yung, I think that's the kind of comedy na mas safe ka, lalo na pag nag-uumpisa ka pa lang.
Yeah.
Kasi
I think that goes for here as well, right? Sa UAE, I mean, good luck trying to insult your audience in the Middle East.
Actually, meron tayong
Week.
comedy bar dito dati in early 2010. Na-discover ko yon meron sa Dera Comedy Bar. Tapos na-enjoy naman ako kasi although ganun nga yung style nila, yung usual. Pero limited yung pag-insulto nila kasi nga nasa UAE sila.
I think, yeah. I think it goes with where you are. Right? Kasi sa Filipinas, you can do that because you know that you have an audience in there. You know, there are jokes that I really don't find offensive, although may kasamang okray. And there are really some things that go beyond the line. You're talking about ripping the audience, Imah, but you, on your material, you are engaging them. I mean, you are using nationalities in many of your acts, right? Because with the mention of nationalities, definitely the people in the crowd who can relate gets involved somehow.
Yes.
And I like that. And I like
Thanks.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Ayon. Meron ako ibang pronunciation and it's not really good. So
Na-curious ako dun.
joke. So ayon, so yeah, actually that's true. So kasi lalo na ako baguhan pa. I was always advised, nag-take ako ng class na banggit ko. So yung mentor ko dito sa Dubai, they are very very maingat talaga sila magbigay ng magturo. And then one thing na hindi ko makalimutan is lalo na pag bago ka, you don't wanna alienate your audience. Tapos kung gusto mong manginsulto, make sure dahil gumaganti ka lang sa pag-insulto ng audience. Kasi sometimes may mga audience members na mas marunong pa sa'yo. Ikaw na dito comedian na lang. Sige. Ganon. Tapos, pero as much as in so far sa 2 years, hindi ko pa naman na-experience na meron akong nakaaway na audience members. So far wala pa naman. Tapos when you said na yung nationality ko, yes, most of the time, lalo na nung nag-start pa ako, yung materials ko about talaga about me as a Filipina, at saka yung mga I try to play and break the stereotypes na kasi one time, to be honest, it's not yung teka, natatawa na ako.
Sige. Ano kaya yun?
One time nasa bar kami, so nanonood lang ako ng comedy ng mga friends ko, tapos yung mapunta ako ng washroom, mayroong nagtap sa shoulder ko na, yun nga, merong ibang lahi na sabi niya, Miss, gusto kong order ng wine.
Yeah.
Sabi ko sa kanya, ako din. so yung mga ganon, I cannot blame them kasi majority naman sa ating mga kabayan na nandito is nasa service industry.
True.
There's nothing wrong about that job. Kaya lang kako, yun nga, pag nangyayari yun, is a good thing na you introduce your other side, right? Like, we are not just in this, not all of us are in the service industry, and not all of us are waitress. Maybe I can be a maid. What is wrong with you?
Exactly. And that is something that I admire, no? How you try to break the stereotype on us. And then, alam mo, ang napansin ko rin, you have a dose of reality, sabi mo nga kanina, nangyayari talaga yun, na pagkakamalan ka, that is the typical stigma na mayroon pagdating sa atin, mga kabayan, ganyan. And then you add that dose of reality to your skits, and at the same time, it became classy. I don't know, nagiging, alam mo yun, when people really laugh hard on how you deliver the jokes, na masabi ba natin na nakuha mo na yung jokes that would really connect you to your audience as Imah Dumagay or Imah?
Yeah, I think it's just me being real. Ganun din kasi yung personality ko off stage. Ganun din ako masyado akong yung maingay, palakwento. So, and it's not that we're trying to please everyone. Hindi naman sa ganun. But alam mo naman masyado tayong friendly, di ba? So it became easy for us to engage. Kahit hindi mo kakilala, pag may nangyari sa kanya, you try to help other people, right? So when you are with a different group of people, lalo na mga hindi mo kakilala, how do you break the barrier? You start with humor, di ba? Nadala ko yan sa stage. So minsan, kahit pag nakalimutan ko yung jokes ko, yung pagiging kengkay ko lang sa stage, nakakatawa na daw yun, sabi nila. So na ako doon, okay na ako doon.
Wow. I definitely, the stage is an extension of yourself. Yun lang naman talaga yun pala. Right.
Yes.
Pero do you see any advantage of being a Pinoy or a Pinay here in Dubai doing a stand-up comedy? Meron ba?
Yeah, I think in my case, I will say dahil ako pa lang yung nag-umpisa ako as the first Filipina na gumagawa ng comedy. So I think somehow naging advantage siya sa akin kasi it was a surprise to the majority of the audience. Like the first time I went up on stage sa bar, ang tingin ng mga tao, what is she doing? Is she cleaning the stage or taking orders? Yung mga ganon.
Grabe naman yung mga comment na yun talaga.
So as a Filipinas, they usually see singers, dancers, actors, commercial models. Then they see someone doing a stand-up comedy. So I think it was a good, naging plus point sa akin yung pagiging Filipina. Yes. That's
Okay.
the question. Nasagot ko ba yung tanong? O,
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Actually, meron akong kasunod na tanong dahil sa sinabi mong yan. Meron akong kasunod na tanong. Sana nag-review ka. Pero, so yeah, having said that, how do you empower Filipinos through your material or through the thing that you do? I mean, siguro may mga taong gusto ring mag-try the stage. Diba? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I think the fact na meron ng Filipina doing stand-up comedy sa Middle East, and kasi kahit sa ibang bansa, very rare na may Filipina. We have Jokoy, we have Rex Navarrete, we have the other guys, pero wala tayong Filipina. So I think I'm not only encouraging Filipina, but right now, since you're asking, so I think I'm kind of somehow helping, to pave the way for my fellow Filipinas. Kasi for sure, hindi lang ako ang funny na Filipina. Ay, charot, sinabi kong funny ako.
You are.
Thank you. I know. Joke. So I hope sa join ko sa ganitong sa pag-join ko sa stand-up comedy, I hope I'll encourage other Filipino women to do this, to try it. Kasi malay mo, maraming magaling na mga Filipino na mga funny, alam mo yon. So
True.
I wish to be the instrument for them.
True. Alam mo, working with Westerners who love comedy, it's a big thing for them, to go on after a day's work to a comedy bar to unwind, to distress. Malaking bagay sa kanila yun. And then that's kaya nga sobrang na-appreciate ko si Imah, Rod, because she's getting there on that position where these people from the other side of the world are really looking up to.
Exactly. Now, Imah, since multicultural yung audience mo, di ba? So obviously, some jokes probably appeal more to others than some. So ano yung jokes mo that you're usually the audience favorite? Yung talagang every time you deliver it, you really get the most laughs out of that joke.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Since it's a very cultural, yung background ng ating mga audience. So mostly I talk about lately I do my yung mga marriage jokes. Nakaka-relate sila. Karamihan kasi mga couples
I think it's always a hit.
Yes, mga couples yung mga karamihan nagbibisita. So ayun, at saka yung mga ibang lahi na may mga girlfriend na Filipino, ayun. Nakaka-relate sila kasi I myself am married to an Egyptian guy.
Yeah? Okay. All right.
Oo. So they asked me, bakit daw Egyptian? Sabi ko, apparently they are trending in Filipino community in Dera. So I got one before the market runs out of them.
Scarcity? May scarcity ba?
No.
All right, sige. I will show something on the screen. You already mentioned his name, kani-kanina lang, but we will pause for some breaks and we will talk about this picture after some time. So, dyan lang po kayo. We will be back.
What is new in Dinaricash mobile app? Dinaricash Games! Join and win daily prizes, discounts, gift certificate, or brand new gadgets. You can also refer it to your friend. For the monthly grand prize, the most referrals will win either of the following: brand new phones, laptop, or tablets. What are you waiting for? Download Dinaricash mobile app now.
Dala mo yung gitara ko.
Oh no!
Akala ko bukas pa uwi mo. Anong bukas? Sino sabi sa'yo? O bakit mo nakadala yan?
Kasi Brad, kinulang ko ng padali.
Oh.
Uso barter nun, babarter ko na lang to muna sa isang bigas. Dagdag cargo din, no?
Hindi naman sa'yo yun eh.
Babayaran na lang kita.
Kahit pa. Hindi mo ba alam na pwede mong padala ng bigas gamit ang Dinaricash?
Ha? Di nga.
Bubuksan mo lang yung app. pipiliin mo lang yung grocery. Ang bigas padala. At iba pang grocery items gamit ang online palengke. Pwede na rin magpa-deliver ng Jollibee.
Oh, amazeballs!
Baka pa order ka na ng mga grocery items sa Pilipinas.
Wow! Talaga?
Sige na. Balik mo rin. Baka ma-impas ako sa'yo yan. Pag kinarikas ka,
The very funny, my very good friend, Imah!
Yeah,
Welcome back, Imah.
By the way, we just want to highlight some comments here. So it looks like you have some friends watching us tonight, Imah. So Ramuel Derige, shout out to Imah, super idol yung humor and proud of her repping the culture. So and then also from Monsef Bumaza. So he's saying, I remember that story. I think ito yung about the Carrefour dress story. So yun. And since you've na-flash mo kanina yung yung image, so Elton Lipanta is actually asking your type of joke. Is it more of a jokoy type of comedy? No ba? Yun.
Hello, Elton.
So sino ba to? Sino ba to katabi mo doon sa picture?
Oo nga eh. Bakit
That guy
pala,
just,
bakit pala nagpa-picture sa'yo tong taong to?
yeah, that guy just came over and was like, hey, you're beautiful. Can I take a picture with you? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
No, actually, props to Tag FM. Meron silang competition that time sa show ni Jokoy, and ako naman yung nag-join sa competition, and I was fortunate to win. And ayun, nagkaroon kami ng parang yung parang nagkaroon ako ng chance to take photo with him. Kaya lang, we didn't have chance to talk kasi natameme ako. It was my dream to meet him, and then it happened that night, and I'm like, why am I married? Alam mo yun, parang gano'n.
Siguro kayo kasama mo na sa labas.
Andyan siya, okay lang yun sa kanya. Very supportive.
So, hindi pala kayo nakapag-usap.
Pero
if
tapos si Joey, dinad mo lang niya ako, sabi niya sa asawa ko, hey, you look like me. Baka ang type niya gusto asawa ko.
Oh, I saw that picture with your husband. Hindi pala kayo nakapag-usap.
Wala, natameme ako talaga.
Pero ano yung gusto mong sabihin sa kanya if ever you'll be given, let's say, 2 minutes with Jokoy?
Yeah, actually, nag-prepare ako ng question ko sa kanya. My question was, that supposedly, Jokoy, if you could be a superhero for a day, why am I beautiful? Ganon. Tapos, hindi ko siya natanong, actually. Masama yung loob ko, to be honest. Masama ang loob ko kasi, ganito, before the show, yung comedy circuit, yung grupo ng comedians sa Dubai, they reached out to him. Pati ako nag-reach out na rin ako sa kanya na baka pwede ako mag-open sa show niya dito. Tapos, ang dami namin communication sa kanya, hindi naman siya nag-reply. So, parang, okay, hindi wag.
Wow.
So, nung nakita ko siya, yun ang gusto kong itanong. Sabi ko, are you threatened by me? Why you didn't say yes?
I think he is.
Joke
I'm pretty
lang.
sure about that. Kasi baka maisama ka dun sa Netflix production niya di ba?
Oh, sayang, no? Joke. Sabi ko,
Yes,
di
yes.
bali next time siya mag-introduce sa akin sa stage.
Wow.
No, I was
Yes.
really, I felt really like, it was a blessing to meet him. Parang, sabi ko, kung nagawa niya, inshallah, magagawa ko rin. It took him 30 years to be where he is right now. Sabi ko, I'll make it 10 years.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Yes.
Dedication, yun.
Joke lang, joke. Pero inspired ako ni Jokoy. Na-inspire ko kay Jokoy.
Pero speaking of that, I mean, do you intend to do comedy for the next 10 years or so? Like, is this something you see yourself doing like for a really, really long time?
So right now, the goal is if I can do it as a full-time like source of, like source of living, maging professional comedian, yun talaga yung goal right now.
So you really want to do this long term, okay?
So ngayon yun talaga yung goal ko, parang di na ako mag-work, ito na lang yung trabaho mo. Parang gusto mo yung ginagawa mo, nag-enjoy ka pa, tapos...
Yes. So I can totally relate to that.
We can relate to that, Imah. I think the passion really burns so high, and you wanted to step out and you do it full time, no? Kung pwede lang, may mga ganung bagay.
Pwede lang.
And
So yung shows mo, sorry bro.
Go
So
ahead.
yung shows mo, Imah, you've only been performing mainly sa UAE, or have you had invitations to perform outside na rin of, anywhere else in the GCC?
Usually sa UAE, but I did a show in Oman once.
Okay, so you only done one. Okay,
Oo,
that's
so,
good.
yun so far. Pero madalas talaga sa Abu Dhabi, Dubai, then local firma.
Oh man, ang galing. Pero speaking of shows, these days COVID-19 is still happening. So you take also a break, no, from doing the live shows.
Oh, yes, unfortunately, walang mga events. Nakakamiss na nga.
Miss na miss mo na for sure.
Oo.
Yeah, and it's just right kasi people can discover you online. You've uploaded your skits and it's part of your acts on your YouTube and Instagram, right? And I
Yes, I
think
did.
you keep doing that in the coming days. Right. So people you can follow. Where can they follow you on Instagram or on YouTube?
Yes, I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Charot. So,
Ayun.
so actually, ayun.
Ayun. Okay lang, Imah.
Ayan. So actually, kasi, as a comedian, sabi nila, in-advise ko before na wag mag-upload ng mga videos online kasi nga, I'm burning my jokes daw. How people will watch you live if they've seen all your jokes?
Yeah.
So sabi ko, well, that means I have to challenge myself to write new material. Alam mo yun?
Right.
Although, the idea supposedly is to make your jokes better by doing them, by repeating them on every stage time. Kaya lang, dahil corona, sabi ko, since I'm not performing, I don't want to disconnect sa mga sumusuporta sa akin. So sabi ko, what can I do now is to just be active on social media. And unfortunately, I couldn't do online shows kasi it was challenging for me. I didn't have any guts to do it.
Right.
So, inactivate ko yung TikTok ko. And then, when I uploaded my videos sa TikTok, mabilis naman yung pick up doon. Ang daming Filipino na, I mean, it's not to brag kasi maliit lang siya sa iba. Pero sa akin, it's a big deal. Meron akong 4,000 followers doon. I'm friends.
Yes. I think perfect match kayo ng TikTok eh. TikTok, people really look for this type of entertainment also.
Oo nga.
Diba? Yeah. So, yes, we can follow Imah Comedy also on TikTok.
Yes, please. Check my TikTok and shorter versions lang yun nandun sa TikTok. Yung longer ones na sa YouTube po sila. So please also sorry. Subscribe to my channel.
Yon.
Ayun.
So, tatawa lang ako kasi binention mo kanina na you will not do these online shows. You will do stand-up comedy. I think I will find it really weird kasi imagine you will not hear the laughter of the audience. Makaking nakamute pa sila, di ba?
Correct.
Totally different atmosphere.
Correct.
Mm.
Ewan ko lang for iba, pero for me, the most difficult art form is stand-up comedy. Kasi yung flow mo, naka-rely siya sa immediate feedback ng audience.
Yes.
So, pag nag-deliver ka ng punch, lalo na ako, mabilis ako, tapos pag wala akong narinig na laugh, baka iiyak ako. So, so ayun, kaya, I don't know, props to those comedians na they did it during lockdown.
Yes. Is it I'm sure there's always a script naman talaga for every act. But how about the spontaneity? Does it happen? And then, nangyari diba sa'yo na on your act, you became more spontaneous than scripted?
Yes, many times. Actually, sometimes you realize na the genuine comedy comes out sa situation, sa surroundings mo. So, may mga time na naka-prepare yung set mo for this show and then you realize yung crowd mo is totally different sa ina-expect mo. So, sometimes kailangan mo mag-improvise. So, dapat mabilis ka mag-respond sa ganong situation. And, maraming time na yung like pag na-feel ko na hindi na mag-work yung joke ko, I'll try to start talking to the crowd. Magka-crowd work ako, mga ganun.
Yeah.
So yun yung spontaneity, nandoon kailangan ready ka sa mga ganung situation.
Mm-hmm. And how do you set your mind? For example, not all of us always have green day. May mga times na we have bad days, may mga nangyaring hindi maganda in the morning, and then sa gabi meron kang show. And how do you keep that focus and become still comic, when you get out of the stage, despite of what's happening?
Alam mo yung phrase na the show must go on?
Yes.
Talagang, basta pagka, kasi you care so much for your audience that they came to the place to watch you. So parang you are obliged to deliver. So, it happened many times na masama yung loob mo, galit ka sa work, nag-away kayo mag-asawa, may nilalagnat ka. Pero pagdating mo ng stage, people came to laugh. So yun, kailangan you oblige.
Yeah. Ang galing.
It's not
Kaya
easy,
harahawa.
pero I'm sorry?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry, sabi kako, hindi siya madali, kaya it's good na stand-up comedy trains you to be more professional in this art form.
Okay. Interestingly enough, there's actually a question from one of the viewers, from Audrey Santiago. So her question is: there's a connotation that funny people are usually the saddest person. What are your thoughts on that?
Hi, Aubrey. Thank you for that very good question. No, I think yan yung that is true for most comedians. Most comedians, I think that's true. But I'm speaking for myself now. Hindi naman ako sad.
Oo nga, hindi naman.
Actually, hindi ako sad. Lang ako, galit. Joke. I think that will not apply to me kasi masyado akong maingay na tao, pala kwento, pala kaibigan. So siguro yung hindi, that's true for others, pero sa akin hindi siya ganun. That's not the case sa akin.
I think stand-up comedy is one of the most genius form of art. Kasi nga, the way you shift your mood and the way you refocus just for you to fulfill what you have to do and get the money's worth of the audience. Iba compared to yung you have to shoot, no?
To some people, stand-up comedy is a therapy for them.
Is what?
Yeah.
It's a therapy for them,
therapy, yes.
Stand-up comedy, they talk about their issues, their life issues, and then they find funny in it. And it's not easy. That's why sabi ko, siguro yung mga ganung klaseng comedian are really, really good na they find the difficulty in life, they talk about it on stage, and then they find funny in it. That's wow.
Yeah.
Kasi sa akin, lahat ng material ko is a happy feeling, happy thought. Ganon. So,
Pero, speaking of material, so Jokoy, for example, uses his son and experience with his mom. Gabriel Iglesias uses his son and family. Ikaw naman, yung material mo, ano yung main source ng material for your comedy?
My marriage. And my experiences as a kabayan here.
Yeah, yun nga, no? Yung kabayan talaga. And I don't know, it's a hit. No, that kabayan jokes, laging hit yan eh.
Oh.
Yes, but as I grow in this art form, I think later on mag-change din yung direction ng comedy ko. But I just want to make sure na yung direction niya is something relatable, especially mostly sa couples. So yeah, as much as I can, I won't touch. I don't know, maybe in the future, but this time I cannot imagine myself doing political or social jokes.
It's a very difficult, subject or topic to touch on. Kasi nga, as what we've discussed kanina, diba? It's really just too polarizing. If you joke about a particular politician right now, baka batuhin ka ng mga diehard supporters ng kabila. So, masyadong mahirap. I mean, you're trying to be funny, but sometimes, they just don't see the joke out of it. Masyadong magiging seryoso.
Correct. Yes, true.
Now,
sorry, ano yan? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna follow up ko lang is parang so yung sa audience mo, every time you deliver a joke, meron na bang once dito sa Middle East na some of them actually took one of your jokes negatively or parang it was just not received very well, parang lead balloon, parang
thank God so far hindi ko pa siya na-experience. But I'm somehow ready to I prepared myself for that.
Right.
So far wala pa naman kasi alam mo naman we are living in a country which promotes respect for each other, empowers women and all these things. So I don't think na merong magkakalakas ang loob na mag-initiate ng something na pwede namin pag-aawayan. So
And I think my thoughts on that is if you are an audience who went to a club or a bar or a comedy bar, you expect things to be to be funny, right? I mean, ayun.
Kasi there are some audience members kasi na, maligalig talaga, di ba? Na they went there to have fun, they laugh at the jokes pagkatabi nila, but as soon as the joke lands on them, kahit pa hindi insulting yung term, sometimes they would react negatively. Or kahit pa in general yung joke, they would find out, oh, bakit ganun yung joke mo? There are some. I mean, I've watched some acts on YouTube that the audience became belligerent dahil sa isang joke, which wasn't really meant to target them, but they just didn't like the joke itself. So,
actually, Rod, dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi mo. Okay, in my case, hindi siya nangyari, but it doesn't mean na hindi siya nangyayari sa ibang comedians, especially the male comics, kasi medyo mga aggressive yung mga material nila. So, sometimes na they end up they approach the comedian, tapos may mga threats na gano'n, magreklamo ako sa police and everything, gano'n. Pero it's the responsibility of the venue. Magbigay ng brief na you are in a comedy show to laugh and don't take everything seriously. These are jokes.
Exactly.
So, if you are very sensitive, why the hell come to a comedy show? Ano
Right.
Parang gano'n, right?
Exactly.
But me, I am not really, hindi ako magaling yung sa confrontation. Kaya sabi ko sarili ko, I'm doing this to make people laugh. So let's stick to this mission, to just make people laugh, to let them forget their problems. So, kung may ma-offend man sa akin, I have to be ready by that, no? So, siguro kung mangyari man yon, I don't know if she deserves my apology, maybe I will. Pero kung alam ko naman na hindi naman ikaw yung huwag ka masyadong seryoso.
So far, wala pa naman akong nakikita na could be offensive to anyone. Well, I cannot speak for everybody, but alam mo yun, even us laughs at ourselves, di ba? Tayong mga Filipino. Di ba? Tayo mismo, even kahit wala tayo sa stage, we laugh at ourselves already. So, it could be a glorifying thing pa nga pag nakita nilang yung ginagawa natin on a typical day is there on the stage.
Yes.
Right.
So,
all right.
So,
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, 40 minutes.
Go. We have one day, di ba? Sabi mo nga.
Yeah, correct. Gusto ko lang balikan na sana in the near future magkaroon na ng more than, kasi ngayon, 3 na kaming Filipinos na doing comedy. Kaya
Okay.
dahil sa corona nga. So we have one more Filipina. Her name is Sharon. And if she's watching, hello to Sharon.
Hi, Ate Sharon.
We have another one. His name is Joshua. Lalaki yun. May babae kong Joshua, whatever. So sana the next the upcoming months or years, sana more than 3 na. Can we share with them, like, how can they reach out to us if they want to try comedy?
Of course. Ano ba? Di ba, I think you mentioned kanina, there's a venue where Filipinos or aspiring comedians can actually join.
Yes. So if they want to take can I promote?
Yeah, of course, by all means.
Yes, please.
So if they want to take a class, if they want to go for a proper training, I would suggest to go to Dumagay. Doon po ako nanggaling. Nag-aral po ako sa Dumagay. But if they want to do other acting or improv, they can also try Courtyard Playhouse. Tapos, if they want to go straight right away sa stage, dahil malakas ang loob nila, they can visit Comedy Kicks or sa personal page ko na rin po, pwede nila akong kontakin doon. And I would be very happy to help you guys. Kasi it's not always that we have this opportunity to, represent Philippines in a comedy form. So, yeah.
Right. Exactly. One of our writers in BXD, si Ella Benson, is an improv actor.
Oh, she's my friend!
Oh, there
She knows you. Yeah, nasa work lang siya ngayon kaya she cannot join us live. But sabi niya, papanoorin niya daw to after. Right after. Yeah, she's doing improv. And speaking of which, your desire to see the acts grow, especially in our Filipino community, probably we can ask you of tips on how do you think people with a desire to become a comedian or actor on stage can knock it, no? Probably we'll talk about that after, again, some few words from our partners. All right? And I would like to thank Imah for that part of the introduction. Naging lively tuloy yung introduction namin because of that part from your YouTube channel. So please do follow her Imah Comedy on YouTube
Yeah.
for a dose of fun, laughter, and everything that you want to be crazy about. Alam mo yun?
Especially during these crazy times, laughter is the best medicine. Ika nga niya na. Sabi nga ni Rian kanina sa kanyang comment.
During these crazy times, be the good crazy. Be the fun
Yes.
crazy.
Exactly.
Alam mo, Rod, bakit ba, why are we featuring Imah? Kasi you introduced earlier in the show about what BXD is all about. And we believe in that. No? Imah has been excellent in what she does, and it's inspiring. And somehow, on the other area of bringing entertainment to the people, she's really doing great in that. And we want her to encourage and inspire even more Filipinos or other kahit ibang lahi kung naiintindihan nila Tagalog, sige lang. to
Surprisingly, a lot of nationalities understand Tagalog nowadays, whether Arabs or sa Pakistani. So, kaya mag-iingat ka pag nagjo-joke ka o pag may sinasabi ka sa pila, bigla naliling ko yan, naiintindihan kita. Diba?
Alam ko minsan nakakainis. Pupunta ako ng Karama, mamimili ako doon sa Alatar Center. Tapos, yung mga doon, ma'am, dito ma'am, sa akin, ganun.
Diba?
Ma'am, bili ka. Tapos kakausapin ko ng Tagalog na. Sabi ko, sige, gusto ko yung pula, bigyan mo ko 3. Ma'am, English, payabang ka lang sa akin. Ma'am, only English, ma'am. Kakairita. Pero nakakatuwa sila in general.
That's true. Lalo na pag mga baguhan sa Dubai. Ako, tuwa ako nun eh. Ayun. So speaking of, you've shared parts of your story already, and then there are some bits and pieces of tips already in there. But if someone asks you, Imah, how will I start? I wanted to grow as a comedian, a stand-up comedy here in Dubai. Anong kailangan kong gawin?
Yes, first contact me so I can guide you. A joke.
Good point.
Yes, I think you can start with watching stand-up comedy online. Kung sino yung paborito mo, pag-aralan mo siya and everything. Now, when it comes to material, para hindi ka masyadong overwhelm, mag-start ka muna tungkol sa buhay mo, right? So, meron kami sa class, tinuturo sa amin na try to write at least 10 things about you. The things that you find ridiculous, about your life, about yourself. So pagka meron ka ng nalistang 10, then answer yourself why it's ridiculous, why it's funny. You can start there. Then maybe you can write about 3-minute set. Tapos you start forget about wag mo nang ipilitin na maging funny ka. Just try to look at the available material na meron sa'yo, no? And then later on you speak to your friends, tell this story. When you hear laugh from them, then you can develop this into proper materials, like where you write the premise and then the punchline. Tapos you can try open mics. So sa venue na we run, yung Comedy Cakes is actually a comedy organizer. We also have Yala Laugh in Abu Dhabi. We also have Comic Con and Videsi Laugh. So if para easier for you, try to reach us sa Comedy Cakes kasi we have a venue and we always do open mic sa mga baguhan. Ang dami po namin natulungan na mga baguhan na doon na nag-grow sa Comedy Cakes. So please take advantage of this kasi po Filipina po ang nagra-run ng show na yon.
Oh wow.
So please.
That's amazing.
Kayo po ang priority ko.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. There you go. Follow Imah Comedy and siya na ang bahala sa inyo. Look at that. Pero
at
when it comes to...
mga tips.
Libre yung mga tips.
Yung
Pero when it comes to...
Sorry.
Yung person ako, halimbawa, I wanted to be funny. I really wanted to see myself on that stage. Halimbawa, ganun yung gusto ko. But I think hindi ako funny. Paano yun? Meron bang chance on that?
Maniwala ka sa hindi. Maraming comedian na hindi funny off stage.
Then they execute it and kill it on stage.
Sabi nila that it's either you have it or you don't have it. I don't believe that. You pwedeng pag-aralan ng pagiging funny. Pag nakuha mo lang yung basic formula ng jokes, how jokes work, I think anybody can do it. Kasi may mga komedyante na gusto mong suntukin sa baba ng stage, pero pagdating ng stage, bonggang-bongga. So wag niyo pong problemahin yun dahil I think especially sa lahi natin, I think we are naturally funny. Yeah.
We are naturally funny. Sabi nga nila, gumuguna at lahat, pero napagalitan at lahat ng Pilipino, nakatawa pa rin paglabas ng opisina.
Yeah, sabi ko nga, kasama yan, meron akong joke na, pero hindi ko siya in-upload na kahit tayo namatayan na, maisip pa natin mag-selfie, mag-smile. Super,
That got dark.
ay naku talaga. Alam mo yung,
That's true. That's true.
yung mga ganon. So I don't think it's gonna be a problem for you, my dear, kung gusto nyo mag-stand-up comedy.
Yes, what a good encouragement out there. Failures. Did you ever consider any failure that you've had already in your span as a comedian on stage? And how did you get over that?
So okay, let's define failure. So my own definition of failures as a comedian, I think meron kaming tinatawag na bombing. Na yung nag-bomb ka sa stage na you throw your jokes and everything pero wala ka nakuhang laugh.
Yeah.
Yung parang blank stare lang nakaganon sa'yo.
Right.
So yun yung kind of measure namin na pag so far, it's not bad to experience that because the only way to develop yourself, kailangan you experience those mistakes, right?
Right.
Kaya lang so far naman, sabi ko nga ako, pag nangyari, may naramdaman kong hindi magugustuhan ng audience yung joke ko, I will do crowd work. I usually do crowd work. I'll talk to somebody and then pagka merong funny na situation, then I will expound the situation. So far, nangyari siya isang beses lang. Actually, hindi ako nag-bump. Sinabihan lang ako na wag nang ituloy yung set kasi
Talaga?
kasi feeling nila racist daw. Sabi ko, paano naman naging racist? I'm making fun of myself. How is it racist?
Yeah.
Yung
But then,
joke nga.
Pero nagpatuloy ka naman in the next coming couple of days, right?
Yes, kasi you should never ever stop. Whatever, sa buhay naman, di ba, maraming pagsubok. You don't just give up like that. Lalo na pagka gusto mo, paano mo masabi nag-develop ka, may progress ka, kung hindi mo nalampasan yung challenges.
Yeah.
So, yun.
Yes.
Wag po kayong matakot. Ang pinaka malaking takot ng comedian is pag nag-bomb siya. Kahit sino po yan. Pero wala pong successful na comedian sa ating mga gustong maging comedian. Wala
What
pong
do you mean?
successful na comedian na hindi nag-bomb.
Okay.
Kahit pa yung
So
magagaling.
I see. So parang sinasabi ni Imah, to get through it, you really have to pass through this.
Yes.
But there's always this one joke na hindi magiging hit I think that's what she was trying to say here. Yeah. There's always this one or two jokes that's never gonna get the reaction you want. So you just have to like adapt to the situation immediately. Mag-crowd work or whatever you need to do to,
especially Rod, that comedy is very subjective. Hindi lahat ng funny sa'yo is funny to me.
Exactly.
So may mga Western, like may mga from British na audience that sometimes they don't laugh at my jokes. Pero I ignore them kasi maybe 5 people but the rest of the crowd are laughing. So move on. But then if that joke landed really flat that nobody laughed, you have contain yourself, move on, throw the next joke. So ganun lang siya. It's not easy pero you'll get through it.
Okay.
Ang ingay-ingay ko, no? Sorry.
Ganun talaga There's an interesting question from Oliver here from Otan. So sabi niya, this is I think about your routine. So before you go on stage, do you practice the jokes with your husband or do you have a manager or mentor who picks which one is effective to go on stage with?
So basically, before you go to stage, meron kang either 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes set. Right? So we write our jokes, we practice, we memorize, and then my way is I practice alone. I deliver my... Ito ang weird kasi most of the time, I laugh at my own jokes. So pag natawa ako sa joke ko, so that means matatawa na sila. Hindi naman sa kayabangan or whatever. Pero so far, pag yung jokes na feel ko na hindi ito mag-work, hindi talaga siya mag-work. So naging basehan ko yun. So ngayon yung husband ko naman, may iba siyang opinion na hindi ko na tinatanong kasi magkakontra kami. Pero usually he listens to, may bago akong joke, I run through, I practice with my husband. So yung first feedback manggagaling sa kanya. Then obviously you don't listen to your husband, you ask other people. And if he gets another vote, you are right. Okay. So.
Akala ko sabihin mo, if you didn't follow your husband, and then the husband becomes the subject of your joke.
Oh my God. Like, by the way, he started doing comedy also. Oh my gosh.
Na-inspire.
kasama siya sa nag-organize ng show, tapos ngayon na-inspire din siya. My husband is not funny at all sa off stage, but when he goes on stage, my gosh, meron siyang joke about Filipinos. I should upload that later on para makita nyo. So,
sige. Yan, gusto namin yan.
minsan na-feel ko, sabi ko, halo, kompetensya ang buang
Threatened daw yan.
Supportive ka lang nung una, ngayon, competition ka na.
So, anong next kay Imah? After, sabihin natin, all this is over, back to normal na or back to new normal, ano pa yung mga pangarap mo that you want to traverse?
The short term, yung achievable mo na ha.
Sige, sure.
I really hope to start to do my solo show, at least 1 hour or 45 minutes solo show. So I'm looking for sponsors.
Parang Netflix special ni Imah, di ba? Netflix special na din.
Yes. Imah comedy special, 1 hour. Charot, mga ganon.
Kami na. Partner mo na kami dyan.
Of course, ano ka ba? Number 1 sabi ko nga, ikaw na manager ko.
Yun, manage mo na sarili.
That's the goal, magkaroon ako ng solo show. And then, after that, if I can tour that solo show sa Middle East, charot, mga ganon.
Dream big, di ba? Always dream big. Yun lang yun eh. There's actually a show of support here from John Santillan, the CEO and founder of Denari Cash. So John's message to you is, Imah, make us all proud. And I think you're already doing that, but do keep it up. And another one here from Zen. So, she sends you her greetings. Hello, Miss Imah. And I think kilala mo siguro to, si Ana Beng Apostol. Hi, Mama!
Hello, yes. Ana Beng is my colleague. Nasa Filipinas na siya ngayon. Nag-forgive na siya. Nag-forgive na siya.
She's watching us right now, so thank you so much for watching us tonight, Ma'am Ana Beng.
Yes. May message kanina si John, sabi niya si Jimmy Carr daw is one of the famous comic that shuts down lots of hecklers. Yeah, Jimmy is known as yung set niya mostly crowd work and only dealing with hecklers. So 1 hour just dealing with hecklers. He's really good. Mayroon siyang show this August, diba?
Yeah, he's coming to Dubai. And he has a show that I've watched on YouTube then where he interviews celebrities. Tapos yun nga, iba yung parang talk show yung dating. Parang he sits at the desk and then he has guests he interviews. So ganun yung dating nung comedy show niya. I've watched a few. So, medyo flat yung expression niya, but you'll really laugh at how he delivers his lines.
Yes. Deadpan siya. Deadpan siya ng comic. Yun yung style.
Mukha siya mataray, but when you listen to what he says, matatawa ka, you'll actually get it. Yun yung mga ng comedy, di ba?
Meron siyang, nag-sold out siya ha, sa bagay kasi corona naman, limited yung audience, pero kahit 3 shows pa din yun.
One hit apart. Wow, grabe. Puno tayo ng inspiration, encouragement from Imah tonight. Thank you so much for sharing a part of your life. Meron pa tayong 23 hours left to talk more.
Yes! Go! Pulutan!
Unfortunately, hindi natin mag-decide yung next 23 hours. But, you inspired many of us, I'm sure. Meron akong kilala na mga nakatune in who have that desire to become somebody in front of the stage. And thank you. And we pray and we hope that you continuously reach your goals and your dreams also. We'll be the first people to be extra happy pag nakita ka namin doon.
Definitely.
Thank you.
As soon as events are really open, like all across the UAE, wala nang restrictions, we really hope that we can watch one of your shows and it'll be one of the loudest cheerleaders in front or kung saan ba kami nakaupo.
Yes. Imah, siguro to close this, why don't you talk to the Filipino community? Because sabi mo kanina, when we were talking off cam, na it's very rare that Filipinos frequent to these spots, to watch comedy shows. Why don't you speak to them right now?
Thank you sa inyo, sa support. Thank you sa platform. Thank you for inviting me here. Sa ating po mga kababayan, pagbalik po ng shows, hopefully, meron po kaming shows across Dubai. So, sana po, sumuporta kayo at yung mga gusto pong mag-try ng comedy, please contact me and I'll be very, very, very willing to help you guys to assist you. I know bihira yung Filipino sa shows kasi hindi nila alam na may Filipino comedian. At wag po kayong matakot kasi wala pong insulto sa aming mga stand-up comedy. Bawal po sa amin mag-insulto. Mababait po yung mga kasamahan ko. At at the same time, yung mga stress nyo sa bahay, pagka meron kayong problema, pwede nyo makalimutan kahit for a short while, pumunta po kayo. I encourage na pumunta kayo kasi hindi lang ako yung funny. May mga, maniwala kayo, may mga Emirati kaming comedian, Pakistani, Indian, British, and they are really funny din. Nakakagulat pala, no? kasi minsan pag nakakita ka ng Emirati, parang, I wanna keep my visa, please. So, parang,
That's a good point.
but
That's a
they're
good
really
point. Thank
funny
you.
themselves. Maniwala kayo,
Yeah.
we are,
Maraming.
So
No,
please, pagka, sorry.
Go ahead. Internet talaga, eh, no? Go ahead,
So please, magbayad tayo ng connection. So,
Wala lalag.
paki-follow po kami sa social media, pati po ang BXD Now. Kasi
Thank
I
you,
will try to coordinate. Mag-request ako sa inyo later on pag may mga show kami kung pwede nyo i-cross-plug sa inyong
Of course.
channel. So, but I think, teka, mayroon pala akong show.
Ayun pala eh. Come on, let's promote it.
Guys, sa August 21, bali mag-host ako ng show ng King and Queen of Comedy ng Dubai, si Mina Liccioni at saka Ali Al Sayed. Meron silang show, mag-host ako doon sa 21st.
Oh.
Sa Dubai Opera!
Oh, magandang venue. Social ang venue ni Madam.
Yes,
Hindi,
we
maglilinis
will.
lang ako doon.
Si Inday Jude ba? Grabe mo din siya.
May sasabihin ako, nalimutan ko na. No, definitely. Let us know of those details and we will definitely help you
Yes.
flag that.
Yeah.
Tapos sa 25 naman, meron akong show sa Red Radisson, sa Silicon Oasis.
We're there.
Ayun.
Ay,
Yeah,
mga
nagsisimula
sa
na
Silicon
yung shows, no?
Oasis.
Yeah, nagsisimula na yung shows. Cool.
Pero pag mamahalan kayo sa ticket sa Dubai Opera, wag na po kayong pumunta.
Abangan na lang namin.
Save your money. Panoorin nyo lang muna ako sa YouTube.
Hintayin ko lang sa Instagram.
Sa 28 naman, meron kaming i-live stream yung show namin sa 28. Ang August. So, ipopost ko lahat ng show. So, please follow us on follow me sa social media. Ganon din yung BXD Now, please. So, you'll get to know of the upcoming shows.
Yun,
Thank you so
definitely.
much.
It's been a good night, actually. Punong-puno ng
Yes.
kasiyahan. Hanggang tenga yung ngiti ko mula kanina pa.
Tumakit yung loob ko na, palo ko.
Ima.
May singsing may pinapalo mo. Baka nag-vlog ka lang.
How do you feel, Lord? Anong pakiramdam mo ngayon after this?
I'm good. I mean, it's a very different, content, different kind of conversation we're having, and I'm really, really excited na pag nag-open na ulit yung mga venues. I'm really excited to be able to watch one of Imah's shows one of these days. Hindi lang nasa YouTube and everywhere else. So it's one thing to watch her shows online, but it's definitely gonna be a different experience altogether to watch her perform live. So iba talaga yung interaction. The vibe is just a lot different, and you can hear yung crowd, yung tawa nila. So it's definitely a different feeling overall.
Exactly. My takeaway for tonight is, stand-up comedy really is a genius. Hindi ganun kadali to really be excellent every time you are on stage. So kudos na Imah for that. Indeed, comedy is a therapy para sa akin at para sa maraming tao. Tsaka para dun sa mga curious about what type of comedy that Imah brings you there, or iba pang klase ng humor. For me, I always believe that sense of humor make you more sense, if that makes sense. And yes, and I hope from now onwards, we somehow inspire you to live a life that's full of laughter, because the most wasted day is a day without laughter. Sabi nga nila, di ba? So this has been Ayon Gonzaga in place of Lance.
And Rod Fernandez.
And Oliver Tan on the backstage, and Jeff on the social media. We are your BXD Now. Thank you so much again, Imah Dumagay, for spending your one hour for us.
Thank you.
That's all, folks. See you again next Thursday for another episode of BXD Now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, guys.
Thank you.
The very funny, my very good friend, Imah!